How's that for a view? That is pretty iconic. Well guys, we are here in Zagreb, Croatia. We just landed. It's a good flight over here from Frankfurt. Now we're gonna grab an Uber, go into town, explore a little bit, and kind of get the lay of the land here. It's the first time in Eastern Europe, so super excited to be here. So landing here at Zagreb was super easy. Coming from Frankfurt, which is a crazy busy airport, this is one of the easiest airports to navigate. Basically, there's no one here. You land, you walk through baggage claim. There's literally nobody in baggage claim to speak of. I'll add a little video clip here of that just to prove how empty it was. It feels like a small town airport, basically. There's like one little Cafe Nero and that's it. We have about an hour till we can check into our Airbnb. So I guess we'll just go get the lay of the land for now. And yeah, welcome to Zagreb. Let's do it. Well, we have arrived in Zagreb, Croatia. Beautiful day here, about 85 degrees Fahrenheit, and we're just soaking it in right now, walking through these old streets in the middle of the city. We're gonna be here a few days, so it's gonna be fun to explore and see where everything is. Right now, I'm just doing my get the lay of the land walk, where I have no idea where I'm going. I'm just kind of wandering, meandering around. But this is really how you get used to a new place. It's the best way to do it, just figure things out. Zagreb has a very long history, but fascinating nonetheless. The name Zagreb goes back to the 1000s, I believe 1094. It's been around quite a while. Different versions of Zagreb have existed since basically the 1st century AD, so it goes way back, even further. Over the years, it's controlled by various empires along the way. Of course, most recently, it was part of the Soviet Union until that ended. And then Croatia had a vicious battle with Serbia for Croatia's independence from about 1991 to 95. I'm just old enough to vaguely remember that, or at least hearing it on the news. Here we are today, and now Croatia's really become a bustling country. They have a lot of incentives for remote workers, people like me who work remotely, work on a laptop. They're trying to encourage more of those people to come here and stay long term. So they have things like a digital nomad visa where you can stay, I believe, minimum of 6 months, maybe even longer. But you can see, a lot of these buildings are very dated. And this is my first time in Eastern Europe, but I have a feeling most of Eastern Europe looks similar to this, where there's a lot of old structures, kind of dilapidated buildings, but there's also a lot of new, very high-end buildings. And where I'm headed now, in the main town area, should see some pretty upscale buildings overall. So let's check it out. But man, it's been a wild couple of days. We were in LA on Saturday, flew overnight to Frankfurt, stayed a night in Frankfurt, and then flew out this morning. And so I'm still not even really on the time zone yet from the US. But it's all good. Looks like we're coming up on the train station here. This looks very old school. It almost looks like a condemned building. Maybe it is. Wow. You see that a lot around here. A lot of very dated, very old buildings. And then there's spaces like this where, I mean, you look at it from a distance and it looks like it could be a nice little park, but I'm kind of suspecting that you're not even supposed to go in it. There's a gate in the front. It doesn't look very inviting. The grass is not cut or maintained. I don't know, man. This is a little bit unsettling. I don't know. Yeah, I don't think this is a place to go. All right, I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna head out of this little area here and back to a main road, and from there it'll be easier to get to where we want to go, I think. I hope. We will see. Hey, don't forget to like and subscribe. The majority of you are not either one of those. You haven't liked anything and you haven't subscribed. So please do that. That really helps. Helps us get pushed up the algorithm. We can put out more content. So now we're getting into the more central part of Zagreb. Zagreb city center is broken into a couple different sections. There's the lower town, which I think we might be in already now, or we're getting very close to it. We also have these trams that run through the middle of town. Really nice way to get around. I think it's about like 80 cents to ride it. So pretty cheap. Got a little patio outdoors here. Very cool. Let's see what's down here. This looks like a little open air market. Again, we're just troubleshooting now. We're kind of stumbling around, seeing what we get into. This looks like a town square. Might get an ice water from one of these stands. It sounds really good. Like I said, it's pretty warm. It's early June, so it's basically summertime. How's that for a view? That is pretty iconic. Kind of looking around at Zagreb so far, my early impressions are there are a lot of reminders of the past all over the place. You know, a lot of graffiti that kind of reminiscent of the Berlin Wall in a sense. It's really, I mean, it's kind of like a history capsule walking through town here. So you can tell that, I mean, this city has had its trials and tribulations over the years. But it's interesting to me that a lot of the dilapidation is still present even today. And I have a sense that maybe that's by design. Somehow maybe it's meant to stay that way for I don't know, for as a reminder, or I don't know, maybe that's just how they want it, or maybe they don't have the infrastructure to kind of clean that up. But that's one thing that really sticks out, is because you walk past a lot of buildings, especially in the main town area, where they just look ransacked. They almost look like if they were in the US or, you know, a lot of other Western countries, they would almost be condemned buildings. A lot of them are apartments. People are living in them, or they have office spaces in them. I even saw one, it looked like a dark, dimly lit alleyway, and then you look through the other side and it's a upscale restaurant on the other end. So I guess that's just the way the architecture is here, the way it's become over the years. Maybe that's how they want it. I don't know. Still a very charming city. You know, when you think about, when you put everything in context, right? Like, it's all about context. Because you could look at it and say, oh well, it's dilapidated, but you learn about the past and it all makes sense. But I can also recognize sort of how it's evolved and some of the beauty of it as well. Like I said, there's a lot of charm to Zagreb. You have these sporadic little green spaces throughout the city, people just hanging out. Now we're getting into the, I guess, the nicer part of town, or maybe the newer, more gentrified part of town. Not sure how you'd call it, but it looks like the buildings are a little more upscale here. The other thing about Zagreb is it's about 600 feet in elevation. It's not at sea level like, obviously, you know, cities on the coast would be, like Dubrovnik, Split. This is an inland city. The nearest beach is about 3 hours away driving, which yeah, it'd be fun to go to a coastal city, but it's all good. This is where we're at, and it has its own advantages. But I think next time I would definitely want to go see Dubrovnik or Split or Zadar, one of those places on the beach, and experience kind of that summertime Mediterranean type weather. And it's also a lot more expensive out there in the summertime, which makes sense. So now we're entering almost like an interior mall, or not an interior mall, I should say an outdoor mall. The opposite of interior. Yeah, it looks like almost an outdoor type mall, similar to Queen Street in Brisbane. If you remember those videos, we walked through Queen Street quite thoroughly. My wife loved it. She went there multiple times a day. But this looks a little bit like that. Similar outdoor mall type feel. You have a sports clothing store. You have a cigar shop with liquor as well. It's a very peaceful area here. You can kind of just lounge out, hang out with your buddies after a long day, you know, have a beer and just do whatever you want. And it's a pretty good place for that. I really like it up here already. And as happens so often when you travel, it's hard to tell where your Airbnb is going to be when you book it. This would have been a much better location, I think, than the one I booked, but it's all good. We'll just have to walk up here a bunch. It's a long walk, but definitely worth it to get up here. Wow, this is beautiful. This has got to be the main area of town. Very cool. Also, this particular section I'm walking up to, kind of this open area, reminds me a little bit of Cork in Ireland. My wife and I went to Cork a couple years ago, and they had this big open square similar to this. In fact, in Cork, they had a Ferris wheel in the square. Yeah, this is cool. This has a very European feel to it. I love the trams. I'm definitely gonna ride the tram at some point. I think that's the way to get around town more efficiently. Let's cross here. Another large statue up here. Almost every statue I've come across, the person's riding a horse, which I assume is a sign of power. It's got to be symbolic, something like that. Once again, it's a very Eastern European aesthetic to have your people riding horseback like this. 1848. I mean, just so much history in this town. It's really incredible. Man, I just love open spaces like this. The other thing that's nice is you don't feel like there's people right on your butt every 2 seconds like you do in more congested areas. This is much easier to walk around in. Yeah, I'm just loving this open air section of town. It's really cool. You got a gelato shop, you got pizza, pretty much every kind of food you'd want. They even had an American steak place, which I might try. I feel like I'm gonna have to try it. Maybe do a comparison video comparing it to actual in America steak places. I don't know, maybe. This is cool. I might stop in somewhere and grab a little bite to eat. We'll see. Very cool, very upscale. Well, day one in Zagreb is in the books, and it was an interesting day. A lot of history here. As I've said, you really notice it when you're walking through town. As someone who's never been to Eastern Europe before, I've read about it extensively, but when you're actually here, seeing it, in person, it sort of gives you a whole new perspective. I'm excited to spend the week here. I think it's going to be a fun week. We're going to see what we can get into along the way, so stay tuned. Like and subscribe. Let's have fun with this, man. Let's enjoy. We're going to do some more traveling here later this year. So this is just the beginning. This is like the appetizer before the main course. Now you just need to get pumped and get excited. But in the meantime, yes, please like and subscribe and do all that fun stuff for me. And we'll talk to you soon. Peace.